You ever found yourself questioning your own abilities, wondering if you're truly confident as you think? If so, you're not alone. Many of us who are dedicated to serving others have faced the crippling effects of imposter syndrome. Am I a fraud? Will they think I'm a fraud? Stick with me here. I'm going to share with you some very valuable tips of how to move forward. Hey there, it's Katie Joy, the Global Butterfly, founder of theglobalbutterfly.com and Awaken with Love and Rise with Pure Joy, helping you to transform your life and business with love from the inside out. So one of the things that I want to address with you around imposter syndrome, if you've ever felt it or ever keep battling with it, right? Am I a fraud? I want to let you know that there's a couple of key things to address here first. Before I even go into that, I want to let you know that most people are already struggling internally with, am I safe? Do I belong? Am I enough? And right underneath the am I enough is that link to that fear of imposter syndrome of, am I a fraud? Well, people think I'm a fraud. Well, they find out that I'm not competent. So let's just have a bit of a look at, some of the key things, because really when you ever have that doubt, that self-doubt about your competency and your skill set, it's actually a healthy thing. But what the challenge is, most people don't do a proper assessment about their skills and where they belong with those skills. And so there's an unexpected, or better, let me put this another way. There is a overstretching expectations. And so I want to, before I go there, I want to share with you some of the reasons why people have imposter syndrome. Let's address the energetics that go in underneath. What's going on in the mind and the body? One of the biggest programs that people are hooked on, and it's one of the most challenging blocks to move people through because it's so ingrained. As I said, because we link everything back. Am I safe? Do I belong? And am I enough? And so perfectionism, this idea of striving for this perfect end result, can lead you overstretching yourself to, in this fear of these high standards that you have to meet in order to serve. And so you either don't show up because you're afraid to actually participate, and you've got great skills to be able to serve people, or you go out and you participate, but you're worried about the perfectionism, so you're not present with people, and then you're not actually serving and listening to the feedback. By the way, if you're addicted to perfectionism, you will cringe and run away and avoid at any opportunity for feedback. But you need it to grow, to get, is it better and more effective, right? And so, because it's the fear of not being perfect that will prevent you from actually asking for feedback, and also for instilling feedback, right? Because it will go into the wound. So that's number one, the perfectionism. Number two is, another big one, comparing yourself to others. And you're measuring their achievements against your own achievements, and your achievements against their highlight reel, right? You don't know what they've done and what they've practiced and what they've all their life experience that comes together. You just need to focus in your own lane. That's it. You need to look at what are your skill sets, the experiences you've had, the elements of what you bring in your strengths to the marketplace, and play there. I'm going to give you a really good analogy coming up on how to actually move forward with this. But right now, I just want to share with you what are some of these blocks that, have people focused on imposter syndrome. Another big one, the third one, is a lack of internal validation. So it's this seeking your sense of self-worth outside of yourself and being validated outside in. When you actually validate yourself that you are safe, you do belong, you are enough, guess what? You're now present, which allows you to then be of service to people, and you'll be more self-aware, moving yourself in the environment with who you can help, how you can help them. And it's not about you, it becomes about them. So that's another key one. Another fourth block in why people are in the imposter syndrome is the fear of failure. The focus on the fear of failure has people locked into this dread of making mistakes and failing, which triggers feeling unworthy and incompetent, not feeling good enough, and oh my dear gosh, I am a fraud. What if they think I'm a fraud? So that spiraling down doesn't serve you. It keeps you away from being of service to others. The fear of failure versus focusing on the success, focusing on what you're grateful for, focus on the gains you're taking, focusing on what and who you appreciate, including yourself. But then also using that, why are you grateful for the opportunity to be of service? Why are you, what gains have you already made? And stack that evidence in your life and look at the competencies. Also, what do you appreciate about the experience of learning in that situation? If you didn't meet the standard that you wanted to hit, then okay, great. What can you do to upskill that moving forward? By the way, using my GGA method, which I have now out in the Gratitude Gains Appreciation Journaling journal, which is on Amazon, is fantastic for entrepreneurs and businesses. I absolutely flip the paradigm. Most coaches go for you for strategy and tactics first. I bring all the energetics in. And one of the key things that you want to do is raise your frequency. And so that you're coming in from a inside out, feeling holistically connected so that you can be present, you're coming from a higher perspective, you can see more possibilities, you can be of greater service. When you feel good, you be good, you do good. All right. So if you want to be able to use that tool to help you move forward as a prompt to raise your frequency, you can get that one on Amazon. Or you can also watch the other videos that I've got in my playlist. So check them out. Another fifth thing that keeps you blocked in imposter syndrome is new challenges and roles. So one of the key things with steps to success, if whatever you want to create in life and business, it's going to cause you to stretch, right? You're going to get out of your comfort zone to get into the unknown, because if you had it, you wouldn't want it. Okay? Right? You need to become a different version of yourself in order to be attracted and aligned with, attracted and aligned with what you're calling in. And so you want to be able to manage your energy as you stretch. Otherwise, what most people do, go back to the devil they know and squish back into the comfort zone, even if it's not what you want. And so new challenges and roles become daunting and frightening instead of exciting and adventurous and leaping into that unknown. And that's only in the unknown is where you're going to become that next version of yourself. But there is a little trick to that, and I teach it all the time, which is how to create your vision. So setting your intentions to get the clarity of your goals to create your best year yet. I've got a free 33-page workbook that you can click the link down below, takes you through my full framework with a couple of video tutorials that help you go through that process. And so when you have a clear eye on the vision that you're creating, you'll have clarity, and you're already experiencing that. So it's not so unknown anymore. And so even though it's not in your reality yet, being reflected yet, you are seeing it from the inside out. And so you take the steps towards that. And so when you are faced with some challenges and the growth experience, it's exciting because you know that you're moving closer to the experience of manifesting your vision into your reality. So here's number 6 of what keeps people back. It's past conditioning. So the messages that you've got from your parents or caregivers or the education system, cultural expectations, or even your own past experiences that have instilled beliefs in you that you're not good enough, and you've bought into that belief, it will fuel this imposter syndrome, this I'm not good enough, and maybe people will figure it out, right? It's not going to serve you to hang on to those beliefs and keep them as a narrative, because then your identity is attached to that. What you want to do is clear the energy blocks. And that's something that I do in 2 programs. One, I have the 5-day soul goal mapping challenge, which is coming up again soon, so stay tuned. And then my foundational program, which is the Awakened Soul program. It's a 6-week live group coaching container. I call you my soul pod. And it's just incredible because it's a parallel of the emotional mastery and lifestyle design that I bring together, connecting all the dots. It's often for people who know a lot of this, but aren't applying it because it's not integrated yet. Because of and there's all these blocks that come up that actually prevent them from moving forward and taking the action. So what I do is I teach you how to harness and master your energy, to identify those energy blocks, how to clear those blocks, at the same time, how to set your clear vision for your life and the steps that it takes to be soul aligned to go for it. So you have a holistic experience in life and business, what you're creating. Or maybe you're in professional and you want to have another side project as well. That's great. Maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to be an advocate for the community. Then that's great. but you need to be able to step into a bigger vision of yourself in order to do that and clear the energy blocks so that you actually are aligned with that and you're moving in a place and a space where it feels really wonderful, fulfilling, not just achieving. So I want to come at this next step of how to actually move forward. There are lots of different things I could say here, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to leave you with something a little unique and a little special so that you can get this concept on the principle so that you can take a step forward. So here's the thing. When you learn a new skill or you've got a skill, there is one center point that must be really good that you are offering to the world, good to great, with the intention of becoming excellent. And here's the thing. When a lot of clients who come to me and they struggle with this situation, one of the things that I notice is that there's this sudden expectation, because I'm in business, I've put my placard out, I should know what I'm doing, right? Or I should be serving this group of people that I want to serve. Maybe this is kind of a challenging one for me to explain. So let me try and do my best and let me know down below if it makes sense to you. So what I want to share with you is that when I was a paramedic, I was in the last school before it went to university. So I was in the last internal boot camp, and we did 1 year of night school. And then we did, I think it was 16 weeks of boot camp. And then we went on the road with a mentor, a tutor, for 4 years. During all that training, we did lots of Simexes to kind of practice the experiences. And during the 4 years, we always had a mentor who walked us through, talked us through, had our back. Prevented us from actually making an overstep or mistakes, or helped guide us through the process as we were learning and implementing and developing the skills, which then when you develop the skills, you have your confidence. But also, it's not just skill development, it's experience. And that's a key thing, because when you have the experience, you integrate those skills and you have the confidence within yourself. When you know that you're competent with your skills, your confidence goes up because you're able to handle certain situations. Could you imagine if I came straight out of the academy and came to a patient with, the limb hanging off, and I'm like, never dealt with this before, right? It would freak you out. I'd be freaked out, and it wouldn't be very good. It would demonstrate a lack of skill and competence. Yes. So here's the thing. When you're placing yourself in a position in the marketplace, you want to do an audit assessment on yourself, an honest audit about what's my skill level on this, how competent am I, and who can I serve, because I am more competent than them and I can lead them through the process and I can be successful with that, with helping them get a result. You see, the fraudulent comes in when we have the knowledge. We don't have, or we might even have some skill, but we don't have the competency yet. And we're putting ourselves in front of a market that we feel like they are my ideal client, but I'm not really ready to serve them yet, right? So you want to look at a couple of key things. There is a puddle, a pond, a lake, and an ocean. And if you're beginning in a skill set, or maybe you've come out of university, right? Again, another thing, most people go to university or have an apprenticeship for 3 or 4 years before they go out into the world. And during that, they have experience to back up the knowledge. Quite often people who go into business, they get a certification, worse, just online without having any experience integrated. And then they put up their placard to want to do business. And then I don't know yet. Yeah, well, okay, let's do an honest audit. Where on the scale of 1 to 10, or are you in the competency of that skill set? Your knowledge might be there, but have you got the skill set development yet? And if you haven't, that's okay. But it's great to know where you're at, because that's where you then go and practice the skills, because that's all it is: skills development, repetition, getting the case studies, getting the testimonials. It'll validate your own experience. You'll have social proof of people who you've helped, and then they start to talk to people. As you develop and grow those skills, you will develop and grow your ability to serve bigger audiences. So you start in a pond. In a puddle, you move to a pond, and then when that's it, you're the biggest fish in the pond. Then you move into the next one, and it's uncomfortable again. So now you're in the lake, right? And like you're this little fish in this big lake. So now you develop your skills even more, and then you move up into the ocean. Does that make sense for you? And that's how you address this underlying "am I good enough?" Instead of making it a personal effect, physically just doing a skills audit and look at what you're doing, because Your ability to help people and get those results is what's going to develop that sense of confidence. You're going to have the competency there, you're going to have the feedback there, and you're going to be able to move forward. There's a whole lot of other energies that go along with that, but I wanted to give you a strategy to move forward today. One, where are you at in your skill set on a scale of 0 to 10? Do you need to develop some more skills? Maybe you're in a pond and you're actually pretty good at what you do in that audience, but you know you're not quite yet good enough in skill to serve people at a higher level, but you can certainly serve people who are in behind you, right? Because you've got some advancement. One of the other ways that I like to express this with my clients is, imagine that you're really good at basketball and you're the best in your community, and you play backyard basketball, you maybe even play in a team in the local community. But then you have to up level your skill set and repetition and your commitment and getting more developed to move up into state and then national and then Olympic, right? Or playing for the country. So you would feel pretty incompetent outside that realm where you feel like the kingpin. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure, what skills do I need to develop that will help me up level and be in that next realm? Who do I need to become? How do I need to think about myself? What habits do I need to instill? What habits do I need to let go of in order to step up and make that progression forward so that you feel competent and you're confident in serving? And so I hope that this is of high value for you. I want to go deeper in this one, so I might address this one again another time as well, and actually take you through maybe some additional points on how to beat imposter syndrome. But really what I wanted to do was give you that idea, that concept about the puddle, the pond, the lake, and the ocean, and your skill set development. On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you at? By the way, one last thing I wanted to reaffirm here. You need to be really good at one key thing minimum of what you're doing and constantly upskilling. So when you have a new skill that you're learning that's related to upskilling you, that's okay that you're new at that and you want to implement and teach that. If you're coaching, it's a good idea to practice that and even be transparent about, hey, I want to practice this new tool on you, or I want to practice this new skill. And you identify the key people that you're already working with, who you know that you would feel really wonderful to express that skill set on and develop that with them and get their feedback, because they know, like, love and trust you anyway, and that's going to help you move forward. If you're beginning in your entrepreneurial business, coaching or consulting, then make sure that you start by just doing some exchanges. Say, hey, if you learn to build websites, then you say 5 people, hey, listen, can I build you your first website? Now, this isn't going to go to CEO of businesses who are, multi-million-dollar businesses. You're looking for local businesses who haven't got a presence on the website yet, or maybe they need to get something a bit better up than what is existing. And you can offer an exchange for, hey, can I do this for you in exchange for a review, a case study, and maybe even a couple of referrals. And so that way you get to develop your skill set. Maybe it is coaching of some sort. You've got yourself your coaching certificate, which is fantastic, good for you, but knowledge is not enough. You need to have some application, apply to fly. So, and then you'll integrate that experience, that skill set. So go out and coach a few people, get their testimonials, get them results, get the case study, and then ask them for some referrals back to you. That's how you'll get yourself moving into momentum from the start moving forward. As you do that, you're going to then develop your skill set and identify where you're at in that skill and who you're serving, move from the puddle to the pond, to the lake, to the ocean. Good luck with that. Let me know below if you find that's really valuable, and hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribing yet. Thank you to all of you that have. I'm excited. We're growing, and I will see you on the next episode. Much love, light, and manifesting miracles, magic, and more. I'll see you next time.